What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Whew, it is hot as hell. It's like 81 degrees today. Like, this is like some straight up. I wasn't expecting the 80s, like the 80-degree weather. I wasn't expecting it until at least early July. Because that, like, last year, that's really when we started getting 80-degree weather, was like back in July. So I was like, damn. But it hit today. Getting into this episode of GH, though, I feel bad for Bobby. I sympathize with Bobby. You know, she got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It's a serious condition, but it's not, you know, it's not a death sentence, because some people talk about certain conditions like it's a death sentence, and it's not. It's very manageable. You can still live a long, happy life. Even with certain diseases, you can still live a long life. It's not automatic death. You know what I'm saying? The only way it's going to become death is if you don't switch up your lifestyle. Like, you have to change your eating habits, exercise more, take your medications every day when you're supposed to take them. You know, if you do all those things, you're going to live a long, happy life. Just do what you're supposed to do. You know, Bobby, I feel bad for her, but I was thinking to myself while she kept just talking and talking, I'm like, Bobby, just stop being so damn stubborn. Because that's how she was acting today. But I get it, though. I get why why she was acting like that. I think her reaction was so real, because I think a lot of people think like that when they get diagnosed with like a serious condition. You know, they just act nonchalant about it, or have an attitude, or, you know, they go through a lot of different ranges of emotion, you know, because when you get diagnosed with something as serious as that, you know, you feel a lot of different emotions inside of you. You know, you feel depressed, sad, angry, you know, all these emotions are just overcoming you. But then, you know, it's hard to accept it at the same time. And I think Bobby at first was having a hard time accepting it. That's why she was like, no, run. You know, she basically told Lucas, like, no, run that test again. But Lucas told her, like, I ran it a few times to make sure. And he was like, it's, you know, true. You have that condition. You know, you have it. But I feel bad for her, though. But I'm glad she, you know, at the end, she took it in stride, and she let Wiley know and Lucas know that she's going to be here a very long time. You know, I can relate to that because I have family members who have diabetes, and, you know, they live you couldn't tell that they have that disease. You couldn't tell because they live a long life. They really do. They live a long, long life. They're very happy. They're taking care of themselves. They're exercising more. They're eating a little better. You know, for me, I don't know how I would feel getting that diagnosis. I mean, I would probably have a range of emotions as well. But at the same time, you know, it's an eye-opener that you do need to take better care of yourself, you know, because Bobby basically was upset that she got diabetes because she felt like she does take good care of herself. She exercises, she eat healthy, you know. But even still, it's just something that happens. You know, you can't help it. You know, as you get older and stuff like that, even when you're young, you know, it happens. You know, you just got to be more mindful about things. I heard a spoiler that when Scott finds out about her diabetes, her diagnosis, I heard that fool was going to propose marriage. I heard that he was going to propose to her. I said, oh, hell no. I said, wait. Listen, you know I love me some Scott and Bobby, but they got a long history. But I'm like, propose? Because the reason I'm surprised by that is because technically they're not even dating at this point. You know what I'm saying? We don't see enough of them. You know, I would actually love to see Scott and Bobby romantically together more on screen. I would love to see that. Hopefully, you know, they write some good stuff for them, because I want to see more of them. And I'm actually happy Bobby's getting a storyline. You know, as sad as it is, I'm just happy she's getting a story. And it has something to do with the medical field. Also, I feel like Bobby needs to slow down at work. I really do feel like she needs to slow down, because you could see how frazzled she was today at work. Because she was basically telling Lucas, because, you know, Lucas was, you know, he called her about her test results and stuff, and she never got back to him. Because it's a lot going on at work. She got nurses calling out, one of them sick, you know, so that's more shifts that she has to cover and more paperwork she got to deal with, more patients. Like I said this yesterday, she's not a spring chicken no more. She needs to scale her work schedule back a little bit. I love that she wants to continue to work at her age, but because she definitely don't look like she in her mid to late 60s. Like I think she is mid to late 60s, but you couldn't tell looking at her. She looked good. And I saw some of them comments that y'all was making about her Botox and stuff. Y'all need to leave her alone. Y'all need to leave my Bobby alone. Leave her alone, her and her Botox. I mean, obviously she got some work done on her face years ago, but I mean, hell, I noticed that 8 years ago. But leave her alone. She, probably felt like she wanted to change, so she made the change. That's all right. But yeah, she needs to, slow it down a little bit, take a vacation maybe, just slow down, pump your brakes. Because when you're working so much, especially when you have a condition and you're working so much, you forget to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you forget to take your meds, you forget to eat. You got to scale, she really needs to scale back a little, because the way that her work life is like, being so busy, people calling out and stuff, she could easily forget to take her meds, easy. I remember I was like that at work one day. Like it was so hectic, it was so busy, so hectic. I didn't even take a lunch that day. Like I was working, I think it was on a Sunday, I want to say, and I was working 8 to 5. I did not get it. Listen, I was working from 8 to 5. I did not get to take a lunch, a break, nothing. Like that's how busy I was that day. Like crazy busy. And you busy if you ain't taking no hour lunch. Like, it's hectic. So that's just how it is sometimes, Depending on where you work, whether it be office, whatever you work at, it's just, it gets busy sometimes, But anyway, moving on from that. I understand why Curtis took the job. It's not just so he could keep tabs on Jax for Valentine. It's not just for a check. But he's doing it. At first, he was doing it for Nina, making sure Jax wasn't, trying to take advantage of her. But he's also doing it for Drew. Because, that's why he's trying to find out what Jax is like as a businessman. So, of course, he was asking Sam all these questions about Jax because of her prior history with him and stuff that he just found out about. But, he just wants to make sure that Jax is not, trying to weasel the other 50% of Aurora out from under Drew. He's just trying to make sure because, Jax is a corporate raider and it wouldn't be beneath him to do something like that. He is a shark in business. That he is. But hopefully for me, I feel like Jax is on the up and up as far as that's concerned. I hope so. But I don't blame, Curtis for, looking out for his friends. He just wants to make sure they're not, possibly about to get screwed over, from stuff that they worked so hard for, So, Curtis is a good friend. He is. I respect it. He's trying to, provide for his wife while she's out and look out for his friends all at the same time. So I get it. It does suck that him and Sam aren't going to be working together for a while or for the foreseeable future. But, I mean, we didn't really get to see a whole bunch of scenes of them working together a lot. But I thought they made a good team for the little bit that they did work together. I thought they made a pretty cool team. But anyway, Shiloh. Listen, I feel like the writers have good villains on this show. I mean, of course, you're never going to have the level of villainous that is Helena Cassadine or Jerry Jax or Cesar Faison. Those were historical villains, the major villains. And that's the problem that I have with GH right now in the villain department. I feel like they have good villains, but the problem is they don't have villains like they used to have villains. Like back in the day, you had villains like Helena, Cesar Faison, Jerry Jax. You had these people who stood the test of time. Heather Weber. These were villains that lasted over 3 decades. And it was the way that they were written. That's what lasted them so long. I feel like the way that they do villains nowadays, they don't have villains that stand the test of time like those villains. These are short-term villains when they should be trying to think long-term. They're creating short-term villains like Nell and, even, Ryan Chamberlain is pretty much a long-term villain in a way. But Shiloh, I just feel like Shiloh and Nell are kind of short term in a way. But I hope that they can turn into long term, because I like the way that they write them, But you got to have so many different layers to them, and and they do, because you see how Nell act, all delusional and angry in one moment, delusional the next, happy in the next, just batshit crazy. So hopefully, they can make long term villains again. I just miss my Helena. I miss all of them. I really do. I miss them. Because they don't got villains like that no more. And it pisses me off sometimes. You need a good villain to come in and start some mess and then leave. Because I could tell you how many times Helena done been gone for a year or two. She would come back and turn Port Charles upside down and then leave. That remind me of that old Stone Cold Steve Austin adage. Arrive, raise hell, and leave. That's pretty much what Helena used to do. Arrive, raise hell, and leave. That's what she did. And I miss her. So anyway, Shiloh keeps thinking, oh, I should have my son and yada, yada, yada. Shiloh, shut up. First of all, I agree with Alexis. There's a lot that has to go through the court system. Number one, he has to do a paternity test. You have to do DNA. You have to do DNA because you have to confirm your paternity. That you have to confirm that that's your child. Also, he has to have a source of income. You got to prove to the courts that you can financially support this child. Far as I know, DOD is a nonprofit. And I'm pretty sure the IRS would like to know how he got $50,000, because you see that he transferred $50,000 from his offshore account to his checking account. I'm pretty sure the IRS would love to see that, and how you acquired $50,000. Since you're such a nonprofit organization, where'd you get the 50? Like, he has no real source of income. Not from a legit career, he doesn't. Unless he's counting those little DOD book sales. Which I'm pretty sure he probably didn't clear with the IRS either. See, that's where they need to be looking. They need to be calling the IRS on him, because I'm pretty sure they would love to know where all that money coming from. They'd be checking them books. Like, for real. That check them receipts. So anyway, he always trying to come up to Sam, trying to taunt Sam or whatever. That little cop in Beatrice Corner need to go. Like, he's sitting there arresting Jason for no reason. Jason did not do nothing. First of all, you can't banish him from Beatrice Corners when he didn't do anything. He just threw Jason up in the cell, won't let Jason make a phone call because he's sitting there talking about the payphone doesn't work. Oh, we get bad cell reception up here, so you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. Like, you are violating that man's civil rights. And what Jason said was true, though. Diane could easily file a lawsuit against Beatrice Corners, and they would lose a heap of money, too. And a lot of cops would lose their jobs. And that veiled threat that Jason basically gave them, he let them know real quick. Like, yo, without that badge, you're fair game without that badge. But see, in the real mafia, mob bosses, mobsters, they don't care about no cop having no badge. If you mess with a mafioso, you get got. Police, FBI, they didn't care. Mob dudes did not care. They didn't care what agency you worked for. You mess with the mob, you get got. That's just how they do. That's how they handle business. The real mafia, that's how they handle business. So my guess is he probably gonna try to do something to Jason or whatever. Jason will hurt that little cop. Jason will strangle that little man. Like, that little man, please, that little cop ain't nothing compared to Jason. Jason will hurt that boy. So anyway, moving on from that. Because Sam got the text because Sam been waiting on the text from Jason the whole day. Like, but Michael finally texted her to let her know, like, the cops got Jason in Beatrice Corners and stuff. So at least she know. That way she got at least get word to Diane or whoever to get him up out of there. So anyway, moving on from that, I understand where Alexis. Let me tell you something with this whole Alexis Julian legal versus illegal thing. I feel like they both have valid points. Especially Alexis about telling the truth and just going to the courts and letting the court know that you're the one who got Wiley and Wiley is supposedly Shiloh's son or whatever. Go to the courts, just be honest, because she doesn't see the point in a cover up. You know, she just don't see the point in it. But it is hypocritical of her because just a second ago, she was literally threatening Shiloh's life. Like, literally. Now she want to stand on a moral high ground. So I agree with Julian on that. I'm like, you know, you can stand on your moral high ground all you want to, but that's not how you handle a person like Shiloh. So I kind of agree. I understand where she's coming from a legal standpoint, but I agree with Julian because they've already tried it the legal way. You know, they've tried. And look where it got them. The justice system was more on Shiloh's side than anybody. Look at the custody hearing so far. Look at this. The judge was more on Shiloh's side. So that just proves Julian's point that now it's time to handle it illegally. I agree with Julian on that. I mean, they've tried it the right way. Now it's time to go the wrong way now. The illegal way. That's how you handle stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, you tried it one way, it didn't work. Try his way. Try it his way. And Brad, little idiot self, talking about maybe I should just take Wiley and run. Shut up, Brad. You're not going to get far. On the salaries between you and Lucas, y'all not going to get far. I mean, yeah, y'all make decent money, but not enough to be on no run the rest of y'all life. And you already know if y'all going to run, the cops are going to be looking all over y'all family bank accounts, making sure they not slipping you no money, you know, making sure y'all not in contact. You already know. If y'all run, you can never come back to Port Charles because if you do, you're going to be prosecuted. And Lucas could lose his medical license. He could lose his job. Is it really worth it? Like, you might want to slow your roll on that running thing. Brad, I just can't wait for his day of reckoning. I really just can't wait for him to get his and they find out the truth. Because it's time for that truth to come out. Like, I'm so sick of these little baby storylines. Like, they're just annoying. Like, it's time for that truth to come out now. Because y'all just dragging this along. And it's like, just put it all out there now. Now it's time. Speaking of crazy, Kim seriously had a break with reality. Like, she just continuously tries to convince Drew that they should have another baby together. I'm like, Drew was smart, though. Drew, he pieced everything together. Like, he was like, so what about Julian? She basically didn't even care. I'm like, you do realize that you're in a relationship with Julian, right? And you sitting here trying to have another baby with your baby daddy? Like, seriously? And Drew pieced it together so fast. He was like, so you went to Julian, asked Julian to have a baby with you. He said, no, not right now. Obviously, because he cared about you and see that you're not in your right frame of mind. So Julian said no to that. So now, since he said no, you're trying to run to Drew now. And she trying to deny it, talking about, oh, no, that's not why. Yes, it is. He hit the nail dead on the head when he brought that up. He not stupid. He know good and well that you're desperate to have another child. Julian said no, so now you're coming to Drew. Trying to recreate Oscar or whatever. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm glad, like, Drew was just letting her know, like, you're clearly, it's hard for her to get over losing her son. Like, I feel like she had a minor break with reality right now. You can see it. Like, she's all wild in the eyes and, pacing and, all moving around like a little crackhead. And you know how junkies be all, and just moving around, can't stop moving. Like, that's how she acted. I'm like, relax. Taking a sip of wine, I'm like, that's the last thing you need right now is more alcohol. I'm just saying, you're already a little riled up enough for the both of y'all. You might want to chill. But I'm glad Julian turned her down. Like, I just feel like she needs a lot of grief counseling. She does. She needs to see a good therapist. Like I said yesterday, she need to go see Kevin or Dr. Byrne. Like, you just need a really good therapist. But like I also said, I'm afraid for her to be around any type of other man because she might try to convince them to get her knocked up. I'm like, she's just desperate for a child. Like, I feel bad for her, but she need to slow her roll. Like, she really needs to slow down. Like, you're doing way too much. Like, you really need to take a vacation. Like, a serious vacation, decompress, go to grief counseling, do what you got to do. Like, just calm your nerves. I just feel bad for her, but I just don't see this whole baby thing ending. She already went to Julian. He said no. You went to Drew. He said no. She probably going to go to Shiloh next, more than likely, because I did see, like, preview pictures of her with Shiloh, so I'm like, oh, God. Ugh, that's the last thing she should be doing is trying to create a baby with that fool. But anyway, this was a pretty decent episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought, and I will see y'all all later. Have a great day. Peace.